All over the news, from our president, from our peers, you hear people talking about Americans. You hear them saying things like, "Speak American," or "We want to protect our country and keep our fellow Americans safe." But I would like to start this talk off with a question. What is an American, and what defines who is and who isn't an American? Now, most people will say, well, an American is someone who is a citizen of the United States of America. But in today's society, is it really? These days, it really feels like the only true Americans in America are those who possess white skin and can speak fluent, accent-free English. I would like to acknowledge that this topic is a bit uncomfortable for many people, but sometimes the most uncomfortable topics are the topics that need to be discussed. My name is Neha Sharma, and I am the daughter of 2 Indian immigrants. My dad immigrated here when he was 26 years old. When he first came to the United States, he only had $526 and had to work a number of odd and unpleasant minimum wage jobs to be able to pay for his education. He eventually went on to get his citizenship, and today I'm proud to say that he is the founder and CEO of his own small business. He worked his way to the top, like many others have done generation after generation. Yet immigrants like him are widely discredited in today's day and age and not considered true Americans. Immigrants, whether they are citizens, green card holders, or visa holders, are given a bad reputation because they are so-called taking our jobs. Well, I believe that if you live here in the United States and intend to move here, then you have the right to have a job just as much as someone who has been living here their entire life does. This brings me to my next point. Does the color of my skin and my culture make me less of an American than someone whose family has been in the United States for generations? I believe so. Most recently, the shooting of an Indian man by a white man in Kansas after his shooter yelled, "Get out of my country," and the shooting of a Sikh man as he was working on his car in his driveway after a white man yelled, "Get back in your own country," shows that Americans are intolerant of those who don't fit their narrow ideal of what a true American is. These incidents really disturbed me. "Get out of my country," that man yelled. I'm sorry, sir, what is it that makes this country that we share specifically only yours? What makes people think that they deserve to be in the United States any more than the next honest and hardworking person over? This can be due to a number of reasons, but I will focus on the one that I think is the biggest culprit. In decades past, and still to this day, American pop culture has been widely made up of only white influences. In the early 20th century, white people often falsely portrayed black people using offensive methods such as blackface, often exaggerating the stereotypes of other ethnicities. Now, as the 20th century went on, the use of blackface died down, but this only applied to blackface. White actors and actresses were still called to portray people of other ethnicities. Still to this day, white actors and actresses have been called to portray people of other ethnicities, characters of other ethnicities. One recent example of this is the 2015 movie Aloha, which takes place in the state of Hawaii. The state of Hawaii, as you can see on the graph there, is over 70% non-white. Yet Aloha contained an all-white cast. More recent than that, Japanese anime series Ghost in the Shell, which is a story set in futuristic Japan of a group of operatives who want to fight crime, was given a live-action remake. Knowing that the main characters of the story are Japanese and the story takes place in Japan, you would think Hollywood would cast a Japanese main character to play the live-action main character role. But no, white actress Scarlett Johansson was given the role. I would like to acknowledge that this movie did not come out 10 years ago. It did not come out 5 years ago. It did not even come out 1 year ago. This movie literally premiered in the United States yesterday. I believe this lack of diversity to be a major culprit as to why Americans are intolerant of other Americans today. Hollywood failed to change and adapt to a changing America, and therefore failed to show in movie screens all over the United States this major cultural and social change going on. And although many people might say that movies have no influence on society, I know for a fact that they do. I've had my fair share of people come up to me and ask me if I worship the cow, or that I'm pretty for an Indian girl, or that since I'm Indian, I must be able to solve this really difficult math problem. And I know a lot of people are saying these things thinking that they're compliments, but really they're just words riddled with racial stereotypes, and they must stop. Society must stop thinking this way. I would also like to make it known that I'm not saying white people bad, brown people good. I'm just saying that America has a racist and bigoted history, and in order to combat this racial issue we have going on right now, we have to acknowledge it, learn about it, accept it, and then change it. Our generation has the power and the ability to change this problem, and I know if we all work together, we can. We must start exercising tolerance for those who are different from us. One quote that always comes to mind when talking about these matters is from the great novel To Kill a Mockingbird. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. And I know a lot of you in the audience are probably thinking, well, I already am a tolerant person. I already do try and be as open-minded as I possibly can. So what can I do about this issue now? The answer really is quite simple. Go out and talk to someone you normally wouldn't talk to. Go out and talk to someone who isn't the same as you, who doesn't practice the same religion you do, who doesn't come from the same cultural background you do, who, God forbid, has a different political opinion from you. America is not just for one specific elite group of people. It is for everyone. No matter what you look like, where you come from, what gender you are, who you love, what religion you practice, America has a place for you, and if you want to, you can come and join us and become an American in the truest, purest sense of the word. America is for everyone, and those who try and tell you otherwise are wrong. Never forget that. Thank you.